Hello, and welcome to Your Vote Counts, a public informational, nonpartisan program designed to get the public acquainted with the candidates vying for the 2022 general election races of Congressional District 6, Senate Districts 10 and 11, House Districts 17 through 23, Salem City Council, and Marion County Commissioners. These interviews come to you through the producers of Capital Community Media, collaboration on questions and moderators from American Association of University Women, Salem City Club, and the League of Women Voters, Marion and Polk County. All 27 candidates of these races were invited, and all but 6 chose to participate. The candidates did not receive the questions prepared by the League of Women Voters ahead of time. Candidates were invited to prepare a 2-minute opening addressing their background and qualifications for the office and a 2-minute closing addressing their goals for the office if elected. Hi, I'm Linda Kirsch from the League of Women Voters, and I'd like to introduce Jessie Smith, who's running for Oregon State House District 18. Hi, Jessie.
Thanks very much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Great. Welcome, and we look forward to hearing your opening remarks. So I turn this over to you for your 2-minute opening.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Jessie Smith. I'm running as a Democrat for the Oregon State House of Representatives for House District 18, the Christmas Tree District, including Silverton, Molalla, Hubbard, and surrounding communities. I am a parent, an author, a web developer, and a concerned citizen. And I'm here today because I have a message that I would like to share with the great state of Oregon on behalf of the people of Oregon's House District 18, where I live. The people of my district want the state to provide better support for our public schools. The workers of my district want to be paid decent wages. The people of my district are worried and sometimes angry about the cost of housing. The people of my district want the state to take action on Oregon's growing homelessness crisis. The people of my district want the state to stop the sprawl, enforce urban growth boundaries, preserve local farmland, and exhibit good stewardship of the natural environment. The people of my district would benefit from a major expansion of the Oregon Health Plan to help them access high-quality, evidence-based medical treatments and care. The people of my district, many of them believe that the government has no business dictating private personal reproductive decisions. We've got to actively stand up for abortion access here in Oregon in the face of recent restrictions on reproductive freedom that we've been hearing about in the news. So I'm out here asking the state of Oregon to listen to the people of my district, and I'm hoping that the state will work on addressing these concerns, because I believe that addressing these concerns will benefit all of the people of the great state of Oregon. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we want to hear your views on our questions of this interview. Now for question 1. Discuss the Inflation Reduction Act and what elements will benefit Oregon.
So the Inflation Reduction Act was a federal piece of legislation that It managed to include a number of other policy priorities because it's been very difficult to get those sorts of policy priorities passed in any way other than rolling them in with budgetary considerations due to the makeup of the Senate this year on a federal level. The Inflation Reduction Act had a number of really important policy matters included in it. Most notably was some key investments in the green infrastructure that we're going to need to make America's cities and countryside more livable and sustainable going into the future. So these kinds of policy priorities are directly in line with the things that will benefit the people of Oregon and the people of House District 18. So I think it was a great step forward, and I was proud of the Biden administration and Congress for working together to get that passed.
Thank you. For question 2, what do you think about renewable energy tax credits?
That's a good question, and I hesitate to offer an opinion on something that I haven't thought about at great length. But I think, in general, that it sounds like a good idea to me. If we can offer people incentives to use renewable energies instead of energy sources that cause a lot of pollution, then we should use every tool at our disposal to incentivize the green economy and sustainable technologies.
Good. Our third question, what steps should be taken to address Oregon's youth mental health needs?
Oh, that's truly a great question, and it is so complicated. It needs to begin as soon as possible. We need to, and we have to keep in mind the larger picture. If we can start addressing people's housing stability and their food security when they are young by helping their parents, they are less likely to encounter major issues going forward in life. As they get into school, we need to dramatically increase the number of school psychologists and counselors who are available to help the kids through the schools. I was recently looking at some statistics, and just the number of providers compared to the number of kids is it's unsustainable. There's no way the kids are getting enough help. So we need to hire those people into the schools, and we need to have programs outside of the schools as well to provide services to teenagers, young adults, and to young parents. All of these things work together. You can't just do one thing and expect that to fix the problem. These sorts of problems are very complex, but it needs to be addressed, especially after the chaos of the last few years have definitely thrown us all for a wobbler.
Thank you. Our fourth question, what is being done to protect and support country election officials and support staff as they conduct election duties?
That is an excellent question as well, and I'm sorry that I don't remember the details. I believe that something was recently passed to guarantee to make it a crime to harass election workers. I think this is really important. We've seen an uptick in the harassment and even threats against election workers and the county election officials who are responsible for tabulating the votes. And the security of our democracy depends on these people being able to do their jobs without interference. So we need to make sure that legislation like that is getting passed. We need to make sure that it's getting enforced. And as time goes on, we need to expand that kind of legislation and really look at any issues that remain that need to be addressed so that we can continue to fight back against anti-democratic forces and the general feeling of hopelessness that one too often hears from voters.
I think you covered the second part of my question that I didn't ask. Is there anything else that should be done? But I think you already addressed that in your response.
There's a lot that needs to be done, and I think it's really important. And I think that I will tell you one other thing that I think would help is campaign finance reform. I think when people feel like it's possible for them as individuals to personally get involved and have a chance of winning, that they begin to believe in the system a lot more. And I think that there's a lot we can do to reform the system to make it more accessible to more people.
Thank you. Our sixth question, how should we address the teacher shortages Oregon is experiencing?
That is so important right now. It's really dramatic at all of the schools, and it's been going on for years. But in these, post-COVID times, it's just gotten really severe. The most obvious, basic, fundamental, essential way to address the teacher shortage is to start paying teachers what they're worth. We need to pay them more. They would be making something like 22% more if they were in the private sector working for someone else, but they are out here. They're working for us. They're working for our kids. They're working to build Oregon's future by training the next generation. And we need to respect their service and thank them for their service and pay them wages that attract and retain top talent. Washington and California both do better at this than Oregon does, and we really need to catch up. We can't keep falling behind. Thank you.
Our seventh question is, does Oregon have the resources to provide adequate and accessible health care to Oregonians? And your answer, why or why not, do you believe that?
Okay, that is an excellent question. I believe in matters like that, it is a question of priorities. If we chose to make that a priority, we would be able to find a way to leverage the resources that we already have and find additional resources to make that expansion possible. And I will tell you, from going out and knocking on doors, talking to the people in my district, many of them are really concerned about healthcare costs. The ACA has done a lot to benefit people, but there's a lot more that needs to be done. And when people are hurting because they can't access healthcare because it's too expensive, that is the sort of thing that we as public policy makers need to be looking at to see what we can do to help out the citizens that live in our districts. Thank you.
I think I skipped question number 5 here. One economic forecast predicts a 2024 kicker for taxpayers. How does this relate to rising inflation, recession, and a stable economy?
So the kicker is unusual because most states don't offer some sort of a rebate for their citizens when there's money left over in some sort of a slush fund. It's always fun when we get one. We can appreciate it. I think it shows, with relation to the last question, that there are resources available to pay for these other programs. And I realize, we would want those programs to be funded on an even basis over a period of time, and the kicker goes up and down. And so that can't be the only thing that we rely on. But in terms of what this says, I don't know that it says anything about the economic forecast, but I think that looking at the way we raise money, possibly addressing that by redistributing our tax base so that those who have succeeded the most and gotten the most benefit from our socioeconomic system are the people who pay the most back into it to help support the system itself and all their friends and neighbors going forward.
Thank you. Our 8th question is, considering the CDC public health statistics on injuries and death from shootings, how do you want to address open discussion around guns in our society?
That is a great question. It's, of course, very controversial. I am a native of a rural area. So I grew up in a rural area. I live in a rural area now. And in rural areas, we, it, going hunting and owning guns is part of the lifestyle. So I think it's important for those of us who live in the city to remember that the people who live in the country don't want their lifestyle to be changed. But it's important for the people who live in the country to remember that the people who live in the city are feeling like they're under threat, like they're being terrorized, like they're the targets of a war because these unstable individuals keep purchasing these military weapons and using them against civilians, and it's unacceptable. And I'm about to run out of my whole minute for this question. There's a lot more that needs to be said.
Well, you'll have a chance here.
Okay.
You have a 2-minute wrap up that you have now.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I believe in democracy. I believe that people working together can achieve amazing things. And that's what democracy is all about. It's about working together. As we chart a path forward following the uncertainty of these past few years, the people of my district are rightfully concerned with questions about protecting our elections and reforming our campaign finance laws. I share a concern with most Oregonians that we should continuously strive to create a more fair and open democracy. So, for the sake of our democracy, we must safeguard the equal right to vote, we must protect our poll workers from harassment, and we must maintain the integrity of our elections in the face of coordinated disinformation campaigns and anti-democratic movements such as we've been seeing in these past several years. And finally, in order to earn the people's faith and trust in our democracy, we must improve the accessibility of our political system. Let me tell you what I mean by that. I mean that a single working mother earning minimum wage should be able to run for a political office and win. I call this the single working mother principle. It's the basic idea that money should not determine the outcome of our elections. Making that idea into a reality is a long-term goal, but I look forward to working with my fellow legislators to make our system the best it can be. In closing, my message to each of you is please encourage all your friends to participate in our democracy. Vote, volunteer, run for office. Our democracy needs you. Thanks very much for the opportunity to talk to you today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jesse, for your interview today and for sharing your thoughts. And thanks to Capital Community Media for their expertise, extensive technology and producer skills to create this program. Also, thank you to the League of Women Voters of Marion and Polk counties for the design and preparation of the program, and to the American Association of University Women in Salem City Club for help with the question development and providing moderators. And thanks to you, the public, for watching in order to become an informed voter. For more local, state, and national voter information on candidates, ballot issues, visit vote411.org. You have until October 18th to register to vote or make changes. Ballots go out on October 19 and 20, and according to new law, will be accepted and counted if postmarked before or on October 8th. Elections matter. Remember to vote because your vote counts.